Kayode Chinoye, who is the lead research at United Capital. Kayode, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate your time. Now, let's get this. Share your thoughts with us about the interbank, treasuries, and the bond market for the holiday week.
Well, the market was not so liquid during the holiday. You know, a lot of people were still waiting. Many investors were waiting on the MPC to take those decisions. That's why you saw those yields at those levels that you saw them. A key consideration for this CBN in the next MPC meeting is to try and see how the level of liquidity in the market can be influenced by some decisions that we expect them to take. So the market was quiet, very thin liquidity, and that's why those yields are there.
Very interesting with the treasury, but let's talk about the interbank a little bit, where overnight money came down back to single digits. Where did the money come from, apart from the fact that there were mature treasuries repayment about 124 billion on Thursday?
Well, you know, the way the money market works, it works on actual inflows as opposed to expectations of what is going to come in. So the market was really not very was not in an exciting mood in the week, and that affected those rates that you saw during the week.
Was that the basis for part of the reasons for the DMO, the very sluggish on the subscription? That was quite, how do I put it very quickly? Well, not interesting.
Well, yeah, not interesting. When you look at the market in the last 2-3 auctions by the DMO, we've had some levels of under-subscription. And that's because the market is a little bit jittery about sovereign risk for the Nigerian government. So you will see less demand. You will see less take-up of funds or auctions in the market. So it's a little bit about market expectations as to where government revenue will come, whether those funds will eventually be repaid in the system.
Where do you think the market is heading as we speak?
Well, I think we're likely going to see more. Yeah, it is a tough one. Again, the government has the recourse to the market in terms of financing budget deficits. So we would still see some more activities. Whether we're going to see investors taking up those issues is another story, is another thing to consider in the light of the weakness in oil prices and government revenue. So it's going to be a tough market as far as uptake for those government securities is concerned.
So do you see this week's interest rate meeting by the central bank as perhaps one of the key deciding factor for what happens in August? We're technically done with July, as it were.
Well, yes, it's going to be a key consideration for the market. What we expect as United Capital is that there is going to be some decisions, very key decisions.
On Friday.
On Friday.
By the central bank.
By the central bank, MPC. The main issues are the exchange rate and the fact that we have so much demand unmet by the CBN at the interbank market. So that would necessitate in our own view some adjustment to some of those trading rules. You know, up to now we have order-based two-way, order-based core system, which is sort of restricted demand at that end of the market. So there will be some adjustment. Two options. One, you either tweak the interest rate and try and make pressure on the currency reduce significantly, or you adjust the currency. We don't think the second option is very attractive at the moment for the CBN.
but you see the CRR moving in any direction whatsoever. It looks like that won't likely move in the short term.
Well, yeah, in the last MPC, the CBN actually stated that it was reaching what they call the limit of monetary policy.
Kind of equilibrium.
Exactly. So, I mean, that gave us an indication that in the near term, the MPR will not likely be adjusted, because at 13%, I mean, it's a high rate for a market like ours, where lending through the real sector by the commercial bank is at the lowest that you can't see. So, so we don't expect much focus on the MPR. We think the CBN will concentrate more on the exchange rate market, I mean, foreign exchange market.
But that looks like where the headline is hitting almost on a daily basis. Looks like that is the whipping boy. So where do you see exchange rate? Are you looking at devaluation? Are you looking at some technical tools being used to save the naira?
Well, I don't think there would be devaluation, but I think there would be some adjustment in the technical trading methodology that the CBN currently adopts in the market. Why don't I think that there will be devaluation? The CBN has come out, came out to say last week that it is not going to succumb to pressure to devalue the naira. So again, some of us will take that with a little bit pinch of salt, because in the last devaluation, prior to that, the CBN came out to say we're not going to devalue, and then at the end of the day, they devalue. I think they would also want to be sure to give that impression that they can keep to their word. And Emefiele came last month to say also that there was some accretion in foreign exchange reserves. So if you devalue now, it's sort of
it takes a hit into your reserves as well.
Exactly, and
so it's a very difficult balancing.
Yes, you're telling us on the one hand that it's accretion to reserves, and you come out to say you want to devalue. It really is so
within 30 days.
Exactly.
Within 30 days.
So, yeah.
So it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. That's what I'm saying. That we may not see that devaluation come through, but we may see some adjustments in the interbank market to try and make that market a lot more competitive, such that the gap, which is the arbitrage gap between the interbank and the parallel market, can close to some extent, reduce that gap and reduce the arbitrage.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's leave it at that for today. Thank you very much. Kayode Atinoye is the lead research at United Capital, one of Nigeria's investment and securities trading firm. Thank you for your time today.